Here comes a new challenger!
Hello there everyone, and welcome to a brand new video. And in this one, I just want to talk about some characters that have been negatively affected by Wi-Fi, such as characters like Inkling, Joker, etc. And really this whole video is mainly just about why I think Wi-Fi, being in this pandemic, has affected people's opinions on these characters so badly. And it's a simple matter. A lot of the characters that are very much like similar to Inkling or Joker, very reactionary based characters like Byleth, they don't do well in an online environment versus offline. They're obviously much worse, not to mention the fact that they have low player bases, because this game is well balanced that you can use any character that you like, really, to an extent. But I would say that when it comes to, say, Joker, right, the main one was always MKLeo. But once the pandemic hit, he wasn't really playing Joker online, right? Same applies to Inkling. The only real Inklings that were playing the character were Armada and Cosmos. But because of online, those characters aren't getting played anymore, right? Unfortunately, the reality of online is that some characters strive in that environment because now moves that were very much reactable offline become unreactable online, such as Bayonetta. As a character, you can't really just like react to what Bayonetta does right online, but offline you can kind of react and predict and what's going to happen and avoid combos, or at least avoid getting hit often, right? The same applies to a character like Ganon. Ganon can't throw out moves like he can online, which is a massive problem. In Smash 4, while online wasn't the greatest, at the very least it wasn't too far different from what we had offline. It was still bad, but I would argue that the difference needed for a Wi-Fi versus offline for Smash 4 was a bit closer than it is for Ultimate. Ultimate naturally has 8 frames of input delay. Now this is not online. This is all strictly offline. There's 8 frames of input delay, meaning by the time you press the button, it takes 8 frames later for the move to come out, right? Or the jump, or a crouch, or whatever the case may be. It takes 8 frames. And then you have to take into account Wi-Fi. At best, with the best connections and the best setup, you're looking at 11 frames of delay. 11 frames of delay. Because of that, characters like Sonic, for instance, who is a very tricky character, plays like this cat and mouse gameplay, works really well online because you can't react to what Sonic does. It's so much harder, obviously. So when it comes to Sonic, you really have to play around him, whereas he could just do whatever he wants, and there's just, like homing attack, for instance. Let's use homing attack as an example. You can kind of react to when Sonic launches himself at you with a good out of shield option, or maybe a spot dodge, and then you get the punish. But you can't really do that online. When it comes to homing attack, you can delay when it happens and all this sort of stuff, so when the opponent tries to react to it online, they'll just get hit, or their shield is going to take some massive damage, and thus making things a little bit harder, and the move shield pokes, all that fun stuff, right? So, when it comes to online, what I really hate about it is that it's just an entirely different meta. It's why I don't go to online tournaments, because why would I want to? I mean, first, online inhibits players, right? So let's say I go to a Wi-Fi tournament, and let's name a player, right? Let's go with... there's so many players out there. Let's go with Nairo, right? Nairo's back and all that, so let's use Nairo as an example. If I somehow beat Nairo online, should that really be counted as a real win? Not in my opinion. I think using online as a way to prove who's the better player is not... Sorry, I just can't respect you if you actually think that. If you take sets off of a player through online, but you can't do it offline, then were you always that good? Not really. That's not how it works. And so I feel like going to online tournaments in a sense just devalues any win you could possibly get. I mean, sure, you may beat a top player, you may get your 15 seconds of fame, but when it comes to offline, if you can't do that same performance, again, were you really that good? Now, if you do beat that player offline too, hey, congratulations, but you understand what I'm getting at, right? So that's why I don't really go to tournaments or anything like that online. I'd rather just go to offline tournaments as rare as I can, right? Because I don't really have many opportunities, but I'd rather get good wins there than just strong wins online, right? Because it's an entirely different environment. The fact that characters just, their whole game plan could possibly shift because of the amount of frame delay is astounding to me. I hope that Ultimate in the future, obviously when it comes to the online, it's getting updated, right? Because before it used to be even worse. You thought 11 frames was bad, but it used to be worse. I think it was like 13 or 14 frames of delay, right? Naturally. But now, you know, it's getting a little bit better, but hopefully it can get even better than that, right? Maybe the delay-based netcode could be like Tekken, where Tekken's delay-based netcode, and it's really good delay-based. So maybe we can get to there, right, in terms of Ultimates online, or maybe, just maybe, find a way to reduce the in-game delay. Because if we think of it like this, if the game's natural input delay was reduced to 5 frames, then automatically when it comes to online, it goes from 11 frames to 8 frames, which is what the game is naturally at. So dropping the in-game delay would do wonders for the game. Alright, I mean, personally, I'd rather have it be 1 or 2 frames delay, right? Or 3 frames delay. Obviously that's not possible nowadays, but I would much rather have that, right? 5 frame delay, all right, then deal with 8 frames input delay. It's insane, the amount. All right, I feel like now a lot of people even talk about that. It was a hot topic in Street Fighter 5, where Street Fighter 5 also had, I believe, 8 frames of input delay, but it was dropped down to 5. I think we need to speak up on that, because man, that's bad. Like, that's really bad. And with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was merely a discussion, and you know, it's really sad, because I want Ultimate to be the best Smash game ever, right? It has every character, but I mean, I've talked about this before, where I feel it has a worse single player than like Brawl, for instance. You know, like, the only thing helping Ultimate stand the test of time is that it has everyone here, you know, everyone's here. But then what happens if the next game does that and has even more single player content, all this sort of stuff? Well, then Ultimate just feels like a bad game, you know, it's just a poorly designed game. So hopefully the one aspect that's really important online gets buffed, because when it comes to online, especially right now, we need good connections. All right, the fact that Japan still has it just as bad, because people think Japan has it better than we do because they're much closer, right? Japan's much smaller than the US. No, it's still just, it can be just as bad. So, you know, let's get that misconception out of the way. But hopefully we see some improvements with the online soon, maybe with the game's actual input delay soon. That's all I can really wish for. Hard to say, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. With that all being said, please take care of yourselves. Have an amazing rest of your day. Subscribe! Come on, 1,000 before the end of the year! And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I'm coming through, partner, we can do this right. You're the fire, I'm the wind tonight. Burning dread, ha.